listen, I date men that are worth over $50 million, which means that if you think asking for a black car being sent to you by just a regular person is like not achievable, you need to raise your standards. I ask them sometimes on the first date, but definitely by the second date, to give me a gift. Now, I'm not going to tell them what to gift me because I want to see how generous they are, but they are not allowed to get me flowers because I already get myself flowers every week. Like, I don't need flowers, please.
Oh, who's gonna tell her? Look, if this is your idea of dating standards, I guess that's fine. But if you want standards that a wife should have for her future husband, you should probably talk about things other than money. You should probably consider how he treats you and how he speaks to you, how he thinks, what do you have in common, what are his interests? Is this somebody that you could be friends with, that you would want to hang out with? Does he make you feel like you're the most beautiful woman in the room? Does he give you all of his attention? Do you almost effortlessly want to reciprocate that? That is what women need to hear. That is what men want. That is what men that want to be husbands want. That is what wives should want to be. And I can say that now. I'm a wife.
Things I want in a man. Number 1, height. My man's gotta be above 6'2". My last 2 boyfriends were 6'3". Both of them. And they were jacked. And they looked really good. How am I supposed to downgrade from that? So, unfortunately, my next man will have to be 6'2" and up. Number 2, you can't have a gut. I need you built. I need you fit and going to the gym multiple times a week. I'm sorry, I'm just not gonna date a fat guy. If I can be in the gym 5 days a week and be fit and care about how I look, you can do it. Number 3, he cannot have a salary cap. Whatever career he's in, he needs to have multiple streams of income, and we need to be able to make as much money as possible. That's why I will never date a guy who works in corporate. What is your 100K salary cap gonna do for me? The max you'll ever be able to get to is 150? Yeah, no, we're good. I need you in a career that is going to make us money. I am a lover of luxury. I like expensive things. I like expensive vacations. So will you, if you're my man. So we need a career that can support that. Number 4, whenever we travel, he's got to be flying his business. I'm sorry, we're not staying in economy together. It's just not happening. Again, this is where the lack of salary cap is really going to help. And number 5, he's got to have a really nice watch. I'm not really impressed when I hear somebody has a Rolex anymore because those can be really cheap. I would much prefer if you had an AP or a Patek and maybe multiple of them. The Rolex can be your day watch and it still better be 50K plus.
Okay. Honey, you're not worth it. You're not worth it. Can I say what we're all thinking? The fact that you delineated this with such, an ego, like you think you're God's gift, you're not worth any of those things. If he is 6'2" and up, built, has multiple watches of the kind that you delineate are appropriate, makes over 150K with no salary cap, and flies his girlfriend first class everywhere, even if he does all that, he shouldn't be doing it for you because you're not worth it. Right? The girl who's worth it is the one who doesn't demand all this and gets it just because she's polite and amazing to be around and loyal and loves her man for who he is, not for the stuff. So again, and listen, oh God, I hate to be this person. Attractive girl, yes, but man, she thinks she's a 10 plus and I don't know. Listen, girls, you have an inflated sense of self that's beyond. So these are the types of girls. Honey, what are you doing for him? I want a list. In fact, I would like you, honey, if you're watching, because some of them do, by the way. Just so you know, guys, I get messages from these women. Oh my God, that's me in the video. You're so mean. You're like a mean, old woman. I eat it up like a Christmas cookie that's just cooked just right. It's not too soft. It's not too burnt. I eat it up because you know what? It's getting under their skin because I'm telling them the truth. So, honey, love muffin out there, if you see the video, I would like to see your list of what you bring to the table that doesn't involve what you look like. Crickets chirp a little bit more. Really, I want a long list. This is crazy, okay? And now, listen, it would be one thing if she internally really said, well, I want a guy. The height thing always is just fascinating to me. I can't, I don't know what that's about. But if you wanted a guy who was fit, and you wanted a guy who made good money because you wanted to be say you wanted to not work, right? And you wanted to be hey, I want to stay home with the kids, so he's got to carry the load. And let's say you really did, when you traveled, you wanted to travel really well and you wanted to take a really great vacation. And, the watches is ridiculous, honestly. Was how unbelievably materialistic and lame. But whatever. Let's say you wanted these things and you internally felt like that. You would also, if you were a good woman, you'd be like, you know what? I have to be pulling my weight, and I'm going to provide these things that a guy really wants. I'm going to make myself really attractive to those, high value guys that have the money and all this. And what's that going to look like? Well, it's going to look like me being respectful and me being loyal and me being submissive. And, the man of the house is the man of the house. And I'm not going to be a headache for him. And I'm going to say, hey, I want to stay home with the kids. I want to, cook the meals, and I want to be present, and I want to be mom. And, it's a different energy that then guys want to do. Guys are so inclined to want to do really nice things for good women. right? They want to do nice things for you. They want to treat their girlfriends well. They want to buy a nice, birthday treat or a birthday surprise, but not for women like this. Guys, listen, if they're delineating all this stuff, they don't care about you. They want like a showpiece, or they want like, it's all about money and she's a lover of luxury. She doesn't care about you at all. You want a woman who cares about you so much that the stuff is extra and it's nice. Don't get me wrong. A beautiful luxury vacation is nice. Don't get me wrong. Flying first class is nice. And all this stuff is nice. Even the watches, which I could give a lick about. But yeah, sure, it's nice stuff. Okay, whatever the stuff is that you like. I like, infrared saunas that are expensive. So it's nice. But you need to know that that woman's going to be by your side through thick and thin. Not there for the stuff. How unbelievably unlikable these women are. Right? Is it me? Get in the chat. Tell me. I want to know.
What we're seeing today is the perfect example of why modern dating is collapsing. A woman sat down and listed out everything she demands in a man: height, body type, money, lifestyle, even down to the kind of watch he wears. And people wonder why so many men are walking away. It's not because men don't want relationships. It's because the expectations have become completely unrealistic. First off, she openly said her man must be at least 6'2", even pointing out her last 2 boyfriends were 6'3". That's already a problem. If your requirements start with comparing the next guy to your ex's, you're already showing that you're not healed and you're carrying baggage into the next relationship. Men don't want to compete with someone's past, and no man should have to. She then made it clear that he has to be built, fit, and in the gym multiple times a week because she hates fat guys. The same women who demand this will turn around and shame men for saying they want women to be in shape. It's a double standard, plain and simple. Women feel entitled to demand perfection from men, while refusing to accept accountability for their own flaws. Next, she set financial standards that most hardworking men would laugh at. She said no salary cap, multiple streams of income, luxury trips, and expensive vacations are mandatory. This is a mindset that destroys relationships. Instead of valuing character, peace, or loyalty, it's all about how much a man can spend. That's not love. That's materialism disguised as standards. She even went as far as to say that her man must have a really nice watch, and that Rolex is too cheap because everyone has one. Imagine believing a man's worth is measured by the jewelry on his wrist. That's not attraction. That's entitlement at the highest level. If your definition of a good man is tied to his accessories, then you aren't looking for love. You're shopping for status. She's absolutely allowed to want whatever she wants. No one can stop her. But reality doesn't bend for entitlement. If she can't find that perfect checklist man, she'll either settle or end up alone. That's the consequence of holding men to impossible standards while offering nothing in return. And the biggest red flag of all? She started her list by comparing her future boyfriend to her past 2 exes. That tells you she's not healed, not ready, and not capable of building something real. This is why so many women fail in relationships today. It's not men walking away without reason. It's women pricing themselves out of very relationships they claim to want.
Wonder why high-value men are not approaching you? It's not because they don't exist. It's because women scared them all away. All I see on social media is men being canceled and scrutinized just for being men. We have literally embarrassed, belittled, and threatened men just for trying to approach us women. I understand there are some horror stories out there, but women can be just as guilty. All the high-value men are doing the same thing us women do on a daily basis, like go to the gym, go to work, get coffee, go to the grocery store. The problem is that women have become so cold and out of touch with our feminine energy that men are literally horrified of being that guy or getting canceled and trashed on. Most of them have just completely backed off because we women have been screaming at them not to come talk to us. We have to take accountability for our action and behavior as women and stop making men look like monsters and start embodying our feminine energy to be more warm and inviting for the right man to swoop you off your feet.
Brothers, high-value men have not gone anywhere. They didn't vanish. They simply pulled back. And the reason is simple. The environment created by women and fueled by social media has made it nearly impossible for men to approach without being ridiculed or shamed. Every time a man makes an honest move, he's labeled, mocked, or told he's not good enough. Men aren't disappearing. They're protecting themselves. See, women love to claim men are afraid of them. No, men aren't afraid of women. What men are cautious about is the chaos that comes after. False accusations, being painted as creepy, being told he's not her type in the most humiliating way possible. All of this is consequences. And let's be real, women created this culture. Social media became the stage where women laughed at men for even trying. That's not fear of women. That's fear of the outcomes. Women need to take accountability for this climate. Men have stepped back because the respect is gone. Women were told to be strong and independent. But what that really turned into was hostility, arrogance, and entitlement. Men are not signing up for that. High-value men especially, men with discipline, goals, and standards, are not going to chase women who weaponize attention and disrespect. What women fail to realize is this. The feminine energy that men use to fall for has been buried under pride and ego. Warm softness and kindness used to be the traits that drew men in. Now, too many women confuse being rude and hard with being strong. But that's exactly why men retreat. If women want men to approach, they must return to being approachable. Period. The internet is the biggest brainwashing tool of this generation. Women were fed the lie that belittling men makes them more valuable, when in reality it's done nothing but push men away. Social media told women to laugh at men, embarrass them, and expose them for likes and comments. That's why high-value men are not engaging anymore. Women built the system, and now they're dealing with the fallout. Avoiding women isn't about fear. It's about avoiding destruction. Men are steering clear of the unknown outcomes that come with dating in this climate, and the responsibility lies with women to change the atmosphere. If women soften up, show gratitude, and become welcoming again, men will respond. But until then, don't blame men for walking away. Blame women for making the environment toxic in the first place.
Men who want to achieve a lot in life. And I'm not talking like some guy who wants to make 200 grand a year and drive a really nice car and then that be his life. I'm talking about guys who like really want to make an impact on the world and make like millions, if not billions of dollars. Why are they so hard to date? The past 4 years, I've been dating my boyfriend, and his circle of friends are all millionaires, and they all want to be billionaires. They want to make massive impact on the world. A lot of them are not in successful relationships, or they are in relationships with the most amazing women. Like, these women are absolute rock stars. One of the things that I've noticed about these kinds of men is that they typically have something that they want to prove. They want to make these millions and billions of dollars. They want to make a massive impact because they typically come from a harder background, which is interesting pattern to notice. I've been seeing this pattern of these girlfriends beginning to lose their sense of identity because now they're trying to become a woman that they think that their boyfriend wants, but really, their boyfriend actually doesn't know what they want. And this has happened in my relationship. This is why in a relationship with a man who has a very clear vision for what he wants in his life, it is so important for us as women to have a very, very, very high self-confidence and sense of self-worth, because we will lose ourselves trying to become the woman that we think our partner wants. Where the whole feminine energy, masculine energy thing comes into play as well, because we do have different talents. We have different ways of seeing things that is so different from the masculine. And this is where we add so much value to our partners' lives, because we are able to inspire them, encourage them, see for themselves what is possible, even if they don't think that it's possible. Like, we are literally life givers. Women need to wrap that around our heads. Like, we have so much power in the relationship. And you're at a higher level, but never forget that relationships are supposed to be fun. Yes, you are in a relationship with a man who has higher standards. Conversations are typically different. Your life goals are typically different, but it's still supposed to be fun. This is exactly the relationship dynamic that a lot of my Pilot Becoming members are in, is this dynamic where they kind of feel like they're losing their sense of self, or they want to learn how to add more value to their partner's lives. Not because, just because like that's like a good mindset to have. Like, how can I continually be adding value to my partner's life? Because when you're adding value to their life, it's because you have the power within yourself to add the value. So it's like personal development also that benefits your relationship. It's like a win-win. I will say that being in this relationship dynamic has challenged me in literally more ways than I could have ever imagined. I have been pushed, I have been prodded, I have been frustrated, but it has all turned out so, like, I am a better woman because of my relationship, and I think that that is a really cool thing to be able to say.
Ladies always ask, why are high-value men so hard to date? The truth is simple. Just like anything in life, the higher the goal, the higher the standard. You don't get to the top without discipline, sacrifice, and focus. And the men who reach those levels are not going to lower their standards just to make dating easy. Women are the ones who must rise to meet them, not the other way around. See, women want the benefits of being with a man who has power, ambition, and resources, but they forget that comes with requirements. These men don't think or act like the average guy. They demand excellence in their own lives. So why wouldn't they expect the same from the woman standing next to them? If a woman wants access to that kind of man, she has to take responsibility for her own growth. Another reality women ignore is how these men communicate. They are used to speaking with employees, partners, and other successful minds. Their focus is on logic, strategy, and results. They're not sitting around gossiping or indulging in emotional drama. So when women complain that these men are bad communicators, what they're really saying is they fail to develop the skills needed to engage with them. Women love to demand that men understand them. But how often do women sharpen their ability to understand men? High-value men don't have the time or patience to decode immaturity, nagging, or games. If women want to connect with them, it requires emotional intelligence, patience, and clarity. That's not his responsibility. It's hers. Ladies, this is why so many of you get frustrated. You want the outcome without putting in the effort. You want the lifestyle without building the character. But the reason these men are hard to date is because too many women show up entitled, unprepared, and unwilling to level up. That's not on men, that's on women. High-value men are not impossible. They are selective, and women who want to secure them must take accountability for their own personal development, their communication, and their mindset. Stop blaming the men for being difficult, and start asking if you've done the work to even be in their presence. Because the truth is, he's not hard to date. You're just not ready to meet his standards.
Girls, I have to ask you something for a second. Why do so many of you choose the man who looks good in pictures over the man who could actually raise your children, be a good husband, and provide for you? Why do you want Ken when what you really need is a king? Every day I hear women saying, I want the tall guy, the six-pack abs, the millionaire lifestyle, drives the right car. But let me ask you, when did a six-pack ever raise a family? When did a sports car ever protect your heart? When did a man's bank account ever teach you how your son is supposed to be a man? It's disgusting, honestly. You chase the perfect Instagram boyfriend, rich, good-looking, flashy, but forget the things that actually matter. His virtues, loyalty, character, values. A man who won't make you second-guess your worth. A man who will lift you up when life knocks you down. A man who will never betray you. You say you want a high-value man, but you're not even describing one. You're describing a Ken doll with a wallet, a prop. And the truth, that's why so many women end up hurt, broken, and wondering why love doesn't last for them. Real high value is not about money or looks. It's about legacy. Who's going to lead you? Who's going to challenge you in life in the best ways? Who's going to be the father you trust for your children? That's what makes a man high value. And until women start choosing based on that, the cycle of heartbreak will never end. So next time you make a laundry list of what you want in a man, cross off rich and hot for a second and ask yourself, who would I trust with my future? Because that is the man that deserves to be with you.
Women today keep shouting that they want a high-value man. But when you actually watch their actions, it tells a completely different story. They skip over the men with loyalty, consistency, and leadership, and instead run straight to the guy with muscles, flashy cars, and a nice smile. Looks and lifestyle get all the attention, while the traits that actually matter in a lifetime partnership get ignored. This is exactly why so many women end up broken and disappointed. Because physical attraction alone will never sustain a marriage, nor will it guarantee respect and security. Chasing a man who only looks good on the outside but has no substance inside is a recipe for heartbreak. Women keep setting themselves up for failure because they place surface-level appeal above real value. High value isn't about abs, status, or money. A man's worth comes from his discipline, his ability to protect and provide, his commitment to one woman, and his consistency in leading his household. That's what creates stability and builds a family. But women today bypass those qualities because they're too busy competing with each other over the man who looks like a Ken doll. And here's the painful reality. When women choose based on image, they can't turn around and blame men when the relationship collapses. You picked him for the lifestyle, not his character. You chased after the excitement, not the foundation. That's not a man problem. That's a woman's poor decision-making problem. Ladies, if you truly want a husband for life, you need to shift your priorities. Stop focusing on who can give you Instagram pictures and attention, and start looking at who can give you peace, protection, and provision. A real man is not the one showing off. He's the one showing up every day. But too many women overlook him because they'd rather chase the thrill than secure stability. So let's stop the lies. A high-value man is not built on appearance, but on loyalty, leadership, and legacy. Women who keep running after the wrong men have no one to blame but themselves when it ends badly. If you want the truth, here it is. Until women take responsibility for choosing wisely, they will keep repeating the same cycle of heartbreak.
All right, family, here's the shocking truth. While most higher value men are choosing to stay single. Let's get into it, family. Number 1, the nature of hypergamy. Majority of women want the minority of men. So some men have way more options than others. Hard to settle down with too many options. Number 2, fear. These men are afraid of losing everything they work so hard to achieve and accomplish by falling in love and settling down with the wrong woman. Number 3, time. Because the reality is, men that make more money probably have less time. Therefore, it's harder to give the quality time that some women strongly desire. Due to this factor, some men tend to avoid commitment because of the responsibilities and expectations that tend to come with it.
She said something that most women don't want to admit. The cold truth about why high-value men are choosing to stay single. And when you break it down, it's not complicated at all. Women themselves created the conditions that push these men away. Let's be honest. The choices women make in today's dating market are the reason high-value men no longer see marriage or relationships as worth the risk. First, let's talk about hypergamy. The fact that most women want the same small group of men at the very top. Instead of looking for loyalty or character, they chase after the wealthiest, tallest, or most influential. What does that mean? A handful of men end up with endless options, while the rest are overlooked. When one man has that many women chasing him, why would he tie himself down? Women created this imbalance by refusing to consider good, average men, and only running toward the extreme minority. Second, there's fear, and it's not fear of women. It's fear of the consequences. High-value men spend years, sometimes decades, building their businesses, careers, and wealth. They know that getting involved with the wrong woman can destroy everything they worked for. Divorce, false allegations, financial losses. Men have seen it happen to others, and they're not willing to risk it. And again, this fear exists because women have shown through their actions that they will take advantage if it benefits them. So when women cry out asking, why won't high-value men commit? The answer is right there. Men are watching the culture of entitlement, the obsession with status, and the way women weaponize relationships for personal gain. They're not blind. They see how quick women are to leave when something better comes along. They see how often men are used as stepping stones. And because of that, they step back and stay single. What women don't want to face is that men aren't the problem here. High-value men aren't avoiding relationships because they hate women. They're avoiding women because women have made themselves too risky. Loyalty, trust, and peace are rare, while demands, complaints, and expectations are everywhere. That imbalance is what drives men to walk away from the table completely. Women can't blame men for refusing to settle down. Men are not stupid. They know the dangers, and they know their worth. If women truly want high-value men to stop staying single, they must take accountability, drop the games, and start bringing the loyalty and support men actually need. Until then, the smartest men will continue to protect themselves by staying alone.
Something that I think is severely overlooked in the whole dating high-value man, dating high-performing men content realm is the fact that a lot of these newer, wealthier men who are perceived to be high-value men don't have incredibly strong values. Nowadays, whether you believe this or not, it is incredibly easy to amass immense wealth, like kind of FU money that gives you intense freedom. It's so easy nowadays that the men who are able to do this kind of lose sight of themselves as men in the pursuit of success and recognition, and don't have the incredibly strong character and values that align with a man who is able to create safety for himself, owning that much wealth. And ergo, not able to create safety for a woman. And this is not all men, but with the newer money community that I am in, I see this a lot, and I see a lot of women struggling in relationships with these kinds of men because it is easy to pedestalize these men because they are incredibly smart. They are incredibly successful. And so it's easy to think that because they have created success for themselves, every part of their life aligns with the kind of man who is able to create success. But what you'll find is that a lot of the success that they crave come from a place of insecurity, and that really affects their romantic relationships. Also, a lot of them are workaholics, which if you know my content, you know that if you're gonna date an entrepreneur, you have to accept the fact that he's a workaholic. He loves what he does. It's like a game to him. He's just like an entrepreneurial man, and he just loves, so don't change that about him, but recognizing and kind of encouraging him. He has to have very good boundaries around his work. Otherwise, you are, as the woman, his partner, always going to feel a little bit put off because you recognize that he's not creating safety for himself. He is subjugating himself to burnout, to overwhelming stress, to disease because of his lack of healthy relationship with success and his work. So I say it all the time instead of quietly becoming, is that as a woman, we kind of have to be a little bit smarter than these men. What I mean by that is not manipulative, not coaching, not mothering them. I mean, we have to be so grounded in ourselves as women and recognizing that just because this man has amassed wealth and success does not mean that he is omniscient, does not mean that he is all-knowing. To kind of see through his success and see him for the man that he is, not looking for the lifestyle that he can give you, but who his character is, and not taking his lack of commitment or uncertainty as a personal feeling towards you. His opinion of you does not matter more than your opinion of yourself. Period. The end.
I don't want to sound harsh by saying this, but men don't want extra drama that they don't need in their life. Men would rather be alone than with a woman who brings nothing more than drama into his life. And no, this doesn't mean that you can't come to him with your problems. This doesn't mean that you can't go to him when you're feeling bad or when you're feeling upset. This just means if that is all you're bringing to the relationship, it is simply not enough, especially for a good man who's going places in his life. If you want to lock down an amazing guy who has all the qualities you're looking for, who is driven, who is ambitious, who's going places in life, you need to be the kind of woman that he would want to be with. And the kind of woman he would want to be with is a woman who is self-controlled, who is emotionally stable, and who's able to support him and put him first in difficult times and not only come to him with all of your drama. You need to learn to be careful with what you say, when you say it, and how you say it. And remember that you need to bring assets into his life that are more than just your looks if you want to be with a man that is going places in life.
Oh yes, finally, a woman spoke the truth for once, and she was absolutely right. She admitted that men don't want chaos, they want peace. And that's the reality women refuse to accept. A good man, especially a man who has worked hard to build his life, does not need more drama. He is looking for calm, not conflict. He wants his home to be a safe space, not a battlefield. The sad part is too many women today think constant arguing, testing, and nagging is normal behavior in a relationship. They confuse being difficult with being valuable. But no man with options is going to stick around for that. Stress doesn't add to a man's life. It takes away from it. Women who bring headaches instead of help are the reason men walk away. A solid man is not searching for a competitor. He's looking for a partner. He doesn't need more pressure when he already carries the weight of providing, protecting, and planning for future. What he needs is a woman who adds value, supports his vision, and brings peace to his home. And if women can't provide that, then they shouldn't be surprised when men avoid committing to them. This is exactly why so many men today are hesitant to even approach women. They're tired of being met with confrontation instead of kindness, with complaints instead of gratitude. Women have created an environment where men feel relationships will only drain them instead of building them up. And once again, that responsibility falls directly on women's shoulders. If women really want to secure a good man, they need to stop being the source of chaos and start being the solution. Men are not asking for perfection. They're asking for cooperation, respect, and peace of mind. It's not complicated. But too many women make it difficult because they refuse to look in the mirror and change. Men are not afraid of commitment. They're afraid of committing to the wrong woman. A man will happily settle down when he finds peace, loyalty, and genuine support. But as long as women bring drama, attitude, and stress, men will continue to walk away. And the truth is, if women don't change, they'll have no one to blame but themselves. To my brothers watching, I appreciate every single one of you for rocking with me on this channel. Your support, your comments, your feedback, that's what keeps this platform strong. You already know, this space is for men who are tired of lies, tired of being shamed, and ready to hear the truth without sugarcoating. So thank you for always showing up, sharing, and standing tall with me. We're building a voice that cannot be ignored. Stay focused, stay disciplined, and above all, protect your peace. Because at the end of the day, peace is the highest form of wealth a man can have.